Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today's video is going to be for all of you that are wanting to get promoted from the Vanarama North and South all the way up to the Premier League, and these are the best players to get in Season 1 to get that promotion. Let's do it. Before we get into the players, I'm just going to show you guys my manager profile. Now, I went with National A licence and Sunday League footballer in charge of Scarborough. The reason why I picked Scarborough was because they're a mid-table team-ish. And you guys, if they're picking a better team, all these players are going to want to come to you. If you're picking a worse team, some of them might do as well. I just thought I'd go for a middle of the table team, and then it should suit everyone. National A licence and Sunday League footballer was picked because I ticked the boxes at the start in the profile. And that's what it gave me. So this is what I should have for Scarborough. So I've not got like a top reputation, and these guys are going to want to come because of the top reputation. If you guys do pick that, that's totally up to you. But these should come for everybody's level, right? All these players. I thought I'd put that in at the start, so you guys aren't like, oh, this guy doesn't want to come to me. It's because you've got the best reputation. I haven't. Before we get into the players, guys, hit the subscribe button on the channel. That would be amazing. The channel's growing really fast at the minute, and I want you guys to be along for the ride. In at number one, as the number one, is Robbie Hemfrey. Now, this guy looks fantastic. 4-star goalkeeper, 4.5-star goalkeeper, sorry. He's a 4-star sweeper keeper, depending on how you want to play. Got a bit of everything. He's 6'4", 16 jumping reach, good decision making, which is absolutely vital, by the way. You're probably not going to see many of those stupid mistakes from Hemfrey. He has also got 14 leadership if you want to go a captain. He's only 21, and the best thing about him, well, the second best thing about him is the fact that no one's interested at the start. But the best thing about him is this. If I go to approach to sign him, I have him on trial at the moment, by the way. I would recommend trialing every single one of these players first because their wage demands seem to go down. Now, he does want star player, but that's absolutely fine because a 4.5-star goalkeeper does deserve star player. If you look at his scout report, he's consistent too, and he's a Vanarama National League player. So he's actually good enough for the league above too. But, like I said, this is the best thing. So we go into his wages, and he only wants 250 quid a week. Now, obviously, you're going to put this up. You want the 2 years as well. If you want to put this up, it's totally up to you. But I would probably just give him 250. Then if other clubs come in, you have a bit of scope to up that to 300, maybe 350. But either way, up to 500, 600 pound for Robbie Hemfrey is absolutely amazing. You'll have a goalkeeper for 2 seasons. He's young, so he'll improve too. And yeah, go and get him. He's a no-brainer on this list. Next up on our list is Tyler Forbes. Now, Tyler Forbes is a right back, and he's more of a wing back than a full back. He doesn't look amazing, but if you actually look at his attributes that he is good at, in isolation, crossing 12, dribbling 11, tackling 10, and he's got pace and strength, right? Now, a lot of you guys know that do these types of saves, know that physicals are really, really key. What I would say as well is the fullbacks situation and free agents list at the start isn't great. Now, there's some that's good, but they're really expensive. They want like £1,000 a week. So maybe if you're managing a team at the top of the division, like Scunthorpe, you could probably afford them. But for teams in the middle of the table and maybe lower down, Tyler Forbes is probably the best you're going to get because even his weak attributes, if you look in the middle, his mentals look really bad. They're actually not that bad. 7s and 8s in all the areas isn't terrible at all. But his physicals are really good. His technicals are really good. Again, if you look, his lowest ones are like 6, but that's long shots and long throws, penalties. So he's actually pretty good. He could also play right midfield if you want him to. If you go into his report, though, he says he's a good player for the Vanarama National League North. Now, he's got a good amount of pace. He's a bit inconsistent, doesn't like big matches, but you're not going to play many big matches, maybe playoff final, but hopefully you'll go straight up. He's not the best player on the list, like I said, but he's the best right back in terms of a guy that can get up and down the wing. For his wages as well, he only wanted about £400, £350 as well from me, so that's pretty good too. Obviously, you're going to need a good fullback if you go up this first season, which you should do with these players. If you go up the first season, you'll probably need another right back next year, but he could be your backup in the Vanarama National, no problem. And again, for low wages, he's absolutely fine. So Tyler Forbes is my choice at right back. The first centre-back on the list is Roshan Williams, and this guy looks very, very good. He could also play right-back if you really wanted to, but he's only got 4 crossing if you want to retrain him. But he is primarily a centre-back. His physicals are fantastic for this level. Everything's fantastic for this level. His lowest attribute that you would possibly need is 7 concentration, and even then, it's absolutely fine. He's got pace and strength to make up for any lack of concentration. So, we're going to have a look at his report real quick, because I've got him on trial. Always get these players on trial, because it lowers their wages, like I said before. He says he's fairly inconsistent, but I think he's too good for this division to be inconsistent. So I think if he played more at his level, which it says Vanarama National League, so you can get away with this guy next year too, which is always good. And he's also potentially to be a leading League One player. So you could easily get this guy into League Two. League One might be a bit of a stretch, but even then, you never know. Probably become a backup in League One if you want to keep him. And he's quite low wages too. If you're going to approach to sign him, yes, he wants star player. I don't think he wants important. Oh, he'll take important, which is even better. I would give him star player though, because he will be a star player and he's more likely to join your club, right? Important player, I guess a few other people might come in for him because he's very good and they might give him important player. But if you give him star player, he might want to join because of that. So I would do that because he will be. And then look at this. He only wants £400. Now you could probably get that down to £350 with an extra year. And a few maybe clauses, I don't know, like yearly wage rise of 10%. That's like what, 35 quid? No problem. But again, look, okay, so there we go, 350 quid, 2 years. Again, if someone comes in, you can up that to maybe 400. He's worth 500, 600, really. Next up at left centre-back, we have Alex Kapatke, and he is a left-footed centre-back, so I wanted a bit of balance. He's good in the air, he's really fast, which is nice. He's 19. He used to play for Chelsea, if that helps anybody that's a Chelsea fan, and he's very, very, very good. He's got 14 tackling too, 12 positioning. He's aggressive, so he can be that guy that goes and gets the first balls with a pace to recover. He's a little bit low in composure and decision-making, but again, who isn't in this division? Going to his report card really quick, it says he's a leading Vanarama National League North, so that's really good. Potentially League 1 standard, so if you guys want to carry him on into the divisions higher, that's totally up to you. You're probably going to find better players in probably the League 2, but Vanarama League North and Vanarama League National, he'll be absolutely fine. If we go into his contract really fast, he wants an important player, we'll get rid of that. And then he wants about 375 quid. Now, I'm not going to show you guys players that are wanting like 800 quid a week to £1,000. That's just no point because there'll be other teams in after them. And these guys are quite affordable. There's probably better players in terms of ability-wise, but they'll just get snapped up by bigger teams in League 2. But Alex Kapatke, I think, fits the mould of good enough for your division, very good for your division, but also affordable. So this guy, I'm probably going to be able to get him in for £375. There you go. You can maybe get him for 350 before. But I didn't really barter with him. You guys could barter maybe a little bit, get him down a little bit more. But Alex Kapatke is my second centre-back onto the left-back. In at left-back is Kagosi Ntle. I don't know if that's how you say it. I'm going to go with Ntle. He's 29-year-old South African. But he's got English other nationalities because he's played in England for a long time. Well, all his career, really. Peterborough for the main of it, Rochdale and Barrow. But this guy I liked, again, because he has got physically very good. Physicals are what you need to get out of these divisions. He's rated really well against my left-back, who is probably the best left-back in the league. He got good tackling, marking, heading. Could also play as a centre-back in a back three if you want, or a back two. Totally up to you. A little bit small for that, but you could get away with it because he's got pace. He's got good bravery, good composure, good teamwork, good marking, good heading, good tackling. You're not really going to get a bad performance out of this guy. If you go into his contract, though, he does want star player. I do wonder if you could get that down to important player. No, star player. That's absolutely fine, though, because he would be. £500, quite nice. So if we could probably get him down to 450. There you go. Next up at defensive midfield in our free agent 11 is Gabriel Adebambo. And this guy is very good mentally. He's very good everywhere, really, for this level. He's only 21, left-footed as well. He could play centre-back if you want him to in a crisis, because there's a lot of games in this division. He can also play left-back and left midfield if you're playing a 4-4-2. He's natural in DM and central midfield. But the best thing about him is if you go to approach to sign, he only wants regular starter, but he also will accept squad player. If you go into the contract, though, he only wants 210 quid a week, which is amazing for this level. So if we get him on 200, we put the 2 years in. If he's been a bit funny. Oh, there you go. Just ask him again twice and he'll be like, okay, no problem. £200. Also gives you a bit of scope to improve that if you really want him and other clubs come in, which I don't know if they will do. They might do. There's a lot of players that are good free agents at this level, so other clubs might come in for him. That's a part and parcel of the game. But Gabriel Adebambo is very good at defensive midfield. I would recommend him for the DM spot. In our first central midfield spot is Louie Becket. Now, this guy is a giant. He's 6'5", 17 jumping reach. I put him in because of his well-rounded nature, and he can play almost every single role in central midfield, from a ball winner to a Mazzala if you really want. But also, you can get him on the front post at corners, and he also plays natural at left mid and left wing. So if you're playing with a wide target man, I don't know if you would, but if you do, or your guy that crosses to the back post, or you're playing with a 4-4-2 again, you could play him left midfield. He's also can play right wing and attacking midfield if you really want. You have to retrain him a little bit. But I put him in because he's a bit of a goal threat too. He's got good off the ball, good decision making, good work rate, so he knows when to get into the box. He's got decent finishing at 8, good first touch, good long shot, so he can hit a long shot. Physically, he's quite good. He's a bit weaker than you'd expect at 6'5", but he's not really got any weaknesses massively in his game. First touch is really good too. If we go into his approach to sign though, this is where it gets good, because he only wants a breakthrough prospect. Now, you might want to give him more than that, it's totally up to you, but he doesn't actually want paying any money per week. But what he does want is he wants £300 if he plays. So if you don't play him, if you've already got a better central midfield, this guy could be really good value for money on the bench, and only when you bring him on will he get money, right? So if you don't use him and you only want him in an injury crisis maybe, you don't even have to pay him. He won't go towards your wage budget. So that's why I put him in there. I wonder if he'd accept 250 though. Probably will if you get... Yep, there you go. In at the other central midfield spot, but also can play attacking midfield, is Osaze Agatise. And he's also used to play for Derby. He can play as a Mazzala and a ball winner, which shows you how good and well-rounded this guy is, because his best two roles are the polar opposites, Mazzala and ball winner. He can do a bit of everything. Physically, again, amazing. Really young at 20 years old. Good traits, runs with ball through centre, shoots from distance. He's not really got a great long shot, but 9's still pretty good. He's strong, good technique. He works hard, good flair, dribbling. Again, if you want to play him in the wide positions, you can. He's a good winger. You could even get away with him as a striker if you want, or right midfield, left midfield. He's one of the must-signs on the list. If you go in here, he's a good player for the division higher. And if we go into his wages, star player, he does want only 180 quid. Which is absolutely must-buy territory. Must-buy territory. If you're going to put him on 200, look at that. If other clubs come in for him, by the way, you have a lot of scope, because this guy, he's easily worth 500, 600 quid a week. So if other clubs come in, you can up that to get him, no problem. Because I'm sure they will come in because of how good he is. But this is one of the must-buys on this list. In at right wing, we have Seb Thompson, 20-year-old right winger, can also play central attacking midfield and left wing as a natural player. So he has got very good pace as well. We've also got really good traits, and the traits are the reason why I put him on this list. So he's got tries killer balls with 12 vision, which is fair enough, but the runs with ball often one is the main one for me, because he's 14 flair, good pace, and this year in the match engine, running with the ball seems a lot more dangerous. So this is why I picked him, because you can play him off the left if you want, as an inverted winger or an inside forward. It's totally up to you. But you can also play him as a right winger, as an inside forward, or a winger, or inverted winger. He gets pretty versatile in what he wants to do. Only 20. We go into his report card. He's a leading player for this level. He likes a bit of consistency, but that won't matter the first season. He'll be good because he's good for this division. So next year, when he's probably among the people the same level in the Vanarama National after you get promoted, he'll probably be a bit more inconsistent because he's up against better players, right? We go into his contract and let's see if he wants a regular starter. He does, so regular starter's fine. He would be a regular starter for my team. And he only wants £450. So we could probably get that down to 350, maybe. 375, I reckon he'll do. With a little bit of... No, okay, we're not going to risk it. We're going to go with 400. In at left wing, we have Josh Hines, and he's also natural at right wing, left wing, and striker. Also a very good striker, like looking at his attributes. But I would put him on the left wing just because I think a striker might need a bit more composure and finishing and a bit more pace maybe. But again, very good traits, gets into opposition area, gets forward whenever possible, runs with ball often. So he's going to get inside that box. He can win headers as well. He's got 10 jumping reach. That will be very good, the 10 jumping reach against smaller fullbacks. So don't worry about that. He's a bit well-rounded at everything. If we go into his report card, he doesn't really lack much. He's very one-footed, which is fine in this level. Long shots is poor, but again, nitpicking at that level. Fairly consistent, which is really good. Works hard for the team. Natural in several positions and leading for this division. And if we look at Josh Hines' contract and what he wants per week, we can see that he wants an important player. He wants to play as a striker, but let's not promise that, because if we don't play him as a striker, which we're not going to on this list, we're going to play him as a left winger. If you guys want to play him as a striker, as a pressing forward, definitely keep that in. But I don't want that. I'm not interested in being bound to promises from players, because it just ends up in tears 3 months down the line if you decide he goes somewhere else. So just get rid of the promises, guys, if you can, especially if they're playing in different positions. You don't do it. It's not a good thing. Negotiate the contract at important player, and he wants 425 a week. Now, attacking players usually do want more, so don't worry about that. But if we want to get this down to 350, we're probably going to be able to, I think. At the very, very least, we'll get to 375, I think. Bit more. Bang. There we go. I could have probably got that down to 350, but don't push your luck. So I was going to recommend this guy, Max Thompson, for the striker spot, because he only wanted £500 a week, which I thought was absolutely amazing for how good he is. If you just look at him quickly, he would be the best player in this division. He would get you probably 50 goals, and he'd guarantee you promotion. But the reason why I'm not going to put him in my list is because a team from League One has now come in for him. Shrewsbury, and also 5 teams or 4 teams in the league above, they're more than likely going to be able to get him. Now, if you want to give him star player and maybe £1,000 a week if you've got that kind of money, or as much as you can possibly get, then I would do it because he guarantees you promotion. But I could only offer up to like 600, 700, and I don't think I'll get him. So I'm not going to put him in this list because of that reason. But I thought I'd show him just so you guys know he's about and available if you want to go for that star striker and you have the cash to do so. He's also 6 foot, he's got pace, and he's good in the air too. So go and get Max Thompson if you have got the money. But now I'm going to give you a budget version for my team. So my choice for striker is Bright Moateng, and this guy does look also very good, but he's not as good as Thompson, we know that. Again, he's got everything that you would possibly need, at least a 10 rating, which is very good for this division. He's got good pace for this level. He's got good composure. He's off the ball, like I said, everything between 10 and 11, technique, passing, first touch, finishing, dribbling. He's very all-rounded, very good. You can also play him if you want as a pressing forward, advanced forward, a poacher, target forward if you really want. It's probably his worst level, and a deep line forward. He's got a bit of everything. I put him in that list for that reason, but also, if you go to sign him, he only wants to be a breakthrough prospect, and he wants to go out on loan, so he's not even expecting to play. But you could take that off because you don't want to load him out. Go to his contract. And he wants 0. He wants nothing per week. He only wants £525 if you play him. So you could probably get that down to 450. Thinking about it. Have a look. Come on. Come on, Bright. Keep going, lad. There you go. Just keep being a bit patient. £450. You could also negotiate a part-time contract if you totally want. And you might be able to get him for lower than that. I'm not going to try that. Because you guys might not want to play him. You might have a really good striker in your mind already. But he's going to be my pick for the striker position, guys. And that's the 11 with the other striker as well as the 12th man. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video. Leave a subscription on the channel. That would be amazing. And until next time, catch you then. Goodbye.